Hello, my name is Saif Alsafeer. I'm the Director of Soccer at Dalton State. I'm from Tampa, Florida, formerly at Florida College. I coached the men's team there for 5 years as the head coach and 1 year as the assistant coach. I really enjoyed my time there and very excited to get here to Dalton State and work with both teams. What brought me to Dalton? That's a great question. I think a lot of things. The view of the mountains is really nice. Of course, the area and all the different diversity that's here is really enjoyable. It's a great place to raise a family. I think the number one thing that brings me to, obviously, Dalton State is the ability to work with the teams here. You have two great programs, the men and women teams here that we've had a chance to work with. We really enjoy them. Great kids, great people. There's a lot of great community outreach that's going on. There's a lot of great community support for both of these teams and the college in general. So it's just a very exciting time to be a part of Dalton State athletics. My soccer philosophy, what a great question. So my philosophy is to educate the entire person. Or in other words, I'm interested in the people socially. I'm interested in them mentally or academically, in other words, for a college environment. I'm interested in them physically as well, so on the field. So really the entire person, and my philosophy is to develop the entire child or the entire student athlete in this case in the college environment, to develop them on the field, to develop them in the classroom, and to develop them as peoples, to build a family within both of the teams. The key points I focus on during a training session, again, another great question. When you design a training session, what I think is really important is to begin with the end in mind. I would say the same thing about designing a lesson plan for teaching or for really anything that you want to go out and employ a plan and then get to a certain place. So the end in mind for me is to create the absolute best human beings as possible as footballers and as people. So when I design a session, those are the things that I'm thinking about. If I want to improve them as people today, at the end of the session, what do I want that to look like? When these young ladies leave this session today, what do I want their disposition and their attitude to be? I want it to be a happy one. I want it to be a motivated one. So I have to be initiating moments where they're motivated out here inside of our training session. I have to also initiate happy moments where I'm interested in learning about them and about their day. Again, beginning with the end in mind. So the other side of that might be what's important for me for setting up a session. What do I want to accomplish today? Well, what I want to accomplish today is I want to work on shape. So at the end of the session, what I want it to look like is a very well-organized, very well-drilled, structured team. So I would picture that in the end and then work backward from there as I build the session. So that's another really good question. How do we motivate the team? As far as I'm concerned, this is the motivator. So one of the big things that we do is set up sessions, as you can see, to where they're playing the game. So not a lot of blocked and constant practices where there's a lot of repetitive nature of the same thing over and over again. There is a time and place for things like that, but of course the game is the greatest motivator. Everybody wants to play. Everybody asks, when they're young and you're coaching an under 10 team, coach, do we get to scrimmage today? So for me, one of the greatest motivators is obviously to try and implement in our sessions the game, as it were, as much as possible. The other great motivator, I think, for people, they want to play for a coach that they can trust and that they can love and that they can not just call a coach but a friend. So for me, I'm very interested in building relationships off the field as well with all of our players to try and motivate them to be the best that they can. We're looking for players that match our core values. We're looking for players with integrity. We're looking for workers or hard workers. We're looking people with a servant-like attitude. We want people that are willing to put other people in front of them. And we're looking for people who have competitive greatness. So people, in other words, that want to be the best. And I don't just mean at soccer. I mean the best human being that they can be, the best academically minded student that they can be. That's the type of player that we're looking for at Dalton State. Many people say it this way, the total package. That's very cliched, but that's a simple list of our 4 core values that we're looking for every time we identify a student athlete for our teams.